Welcome to the inn, travelers. Our group is exploring the boundaries of Dungeons and Dragons, placing story and character before mechanics. Enter with us the Isle of Berdea, a land rife with untamed wilds, ancient mysteries, powerful kingdoms, and tales of heroes past, current, and yet to be. Fill a cup for your maiden, fill a cup for your friend, and pull up a stool as you join the inn crowd. The low rumble of waves lure you back from the darkness. Your eyes flutter, blurry with salt. Sun shines upon your onyx skin like a warm embrace, and air fills your lungs as you inhale deeply. Pressing up onto your forearms, you find yourself on an endless beach that connects to an endless desert. Giant dunes rise southerly, blocking your vision inland. You're in a considerable amount of pain. As the tide recedes around your feet, tiny crabs bury themselves to hide from the sun, except one who appears stuck on your back. Iritran, what would you like to do?
I'm going to politely remove the crab from my back and get up.
Sure. When you reach around, you can feel a sharp pain in your stomach, but you manage to get some fingers on the crab. And when you lift it away, you do see that it has a bit of blood on its little legs. But you set it down into the sand, and it graciously almost bows to you as it scuttles away and disappears underneath the kernels.
Oh, noble crab. All right. So now I'm going to look around, and it's just dunes around me. I'm going to start...
It should be... Sorry.
Pardon?
As you start to look around, it becomes glaringly obvious that the external is going to be far less important than the internal. Your stomach, your guts, more like, are killing you.
Okay. I'm going to pull out my short sword and cast my cantrip on it to cauterize the wound. I'm going to cast green flame blade on my short sword.
Sure. You reach past the broken rapier blade, which is stuck through your torso, and pull your short sword. Your cantrip goes off no problem, but as the magic escapes your fingers and attaches itself to the blade, a curl of black smoke comes up out of the sand, almost where you saw that crab disappear, forming a slightly larger, far more vicious looking crab composed of black scales and glowing red eyeballs.
This just isn't my day. Okay. Well, I've got my cantrip on my short sword, and let's go ahead and, try and talk to this smoke crab. Or...
There is no response. And as a matter of fact, I am going to need you to roll initiative.
Ah, man, it looks like we're having crab tonight. 21.
That's going to be plenty to go first. The crab rolled a 4. What would you like to do? It is obviously trying to attack you. It seems drawn to the magic which you have just cast onto your sword.
Oh. Okay. Well, then I'm going to attack it with my scimitar first.
Okay.
While waving. So, boom, shakalaka. 11.
Let me just double check my notes here. It is just a little crab. That is going to meet and beat this crab's AC. Roll damage.
Bam. Thank God. 8.
The crab loses 3 of its 6 legs, which go flying into the air and dispersing into a puff of black smoke. It pulls itself towards you, and I believe you have a second attack.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you come at me, bro. I got that flaming sword you wanted so badly. Here we go. 11.
That's going to work. It's just a little crab.
It's just a little crab, and I'm a little bit damaged. All
Sure.
right, little sword piercing wounds. Let's see what. That's gonna go for 7.
Okay, that's going to do it. As you arc the scimitar, as you arc the flaming short sword up and around, you see the crab's red glowing eyes fixate on it as it plunges in and destroys the crab, which disperses in a puff of black smoke. And with the adrenaline ebbing, the pain returns like a truck to your gut, and you are forced to take a knee. The rapier blade is still sticking out of it.
I'm gonna do. All right, I'm gonna try and heal the wound with. I can't really cauterize it because that just brings crabs. Let's.
If you want to just try and do a non-magical business on this, you can roll medicine.
I'm gonna roll medicine. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. 12.
Okay.
Rolls are kind of medium.
You will be able to remove the blade, and I would love for you to tell us how that goes.
I can already feel it, sort of. All right, so I can definitely feel it scraping slightly against the rib, but I got a good grip on it. Grip my teeth, pull it out one move while crying. I'm not afraid to cry, you know.
Sure. I'm going to have you take 1 damage. What is your HP at?
3.
Okay, better be careful.
Yeah.
You are now on the beach holding a broken blade in your hand. Far worse for the wear. How would you like to proceed?
I'm going to go ahead and dig through my survival's tools to see if I have anything to help me.
Okay. It seems as though most of your gear was separated from your person in whatever it was that brought you from this beach. Why don't you roll perception to see if you can find any of it?
Nope. 24.
That's a hot roll. Okay. You find a bundle of your belongings strewn not far from where you are right now. After a quick inventory with a 24, you have all of your gear.
All right, let's go ahead and heal myself because I feel like I've gotten the worst of it.
How would you like to do that?
Do I have flint and tinder? I have flint and tinder. I'm gonna go ahead and. Are there any trees? Do I perceive any trees on this beach?
No. Now that you are looking around, there is very little on this beach. It seems to go on forever, and up past the water line and farther forward inland, you can see nothing but desert stretching out before you. You seem to have washed up on the shores of nothingness.
Huh. I am going to use my survival tools. I have to stop this bleeding. I'm going to sew the wound.
Okay. I think that you would be able to find, it would not be pretty, but enough to get some thread and a suitable needle out of your things. We're just going to have you roll medicine to see how well you do, because I think that you've had to sew a wound closed before.
Yeah, not ideal, not my own, usually. 12. These 12s are.
You get it closed. You're not certain that you're going to be able to keep it from getting infected, but it'll do for the time being. Chances are you'll need to make another attempt in a day or so, but for the time being, the bleeding has stopped.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and check for any sort of paths, like footprints or anything in the sands. Yeah.
Okay. You start wandering towards the mainland, the inland, the desert. And from what you can tell, no one has been this way in what must be a very long time. There's no breeze, so it is quite hot, and the sun is beating down on your back. no winds that would have carried footprints away. It seems that you are alone.
Okay.
And you are starting to get thirsty.
I think I have to meditate and see if I can heal my wounds.
Okay. It's not going to require a roll. You're an elf, so you do not need to sleep. But as you cross your legs and sit down to meditate, the sun is just too oppressive, and even you cannot find or muster the concentration to get a short rest out of this.
All right. This beach is fun. Did I actually die? Because this actually sounds like purgatory at this
Doesn't
time.
it
Like this
feel that way?
coming out that like are drawn to my magic that I'm trying to heal my wound. They're like, fuck your wounds. All right, fine. Okay. I can't meditate. I can't.
Roll survival.
Rolling survival.
You've had to survive before. You think your best course of action is to set off into the desert.
Well, all right, let's go. Let's find some sort of shady tree in the desert.
Holding a soaking wet bundle of supplies over his shoulder and gripping a hastily sewn together wound in his gut, Iratran heads off into the wasteland in search of any means to survive. Carriages have been pulling up nonstop since sundown, filling your family's manor with high-pointed noses and tightly corseted ladies, everyone sporting the latest trim of knotted epaulets. What was once just a large sitting room is now set with all the trimmings for entertainment. Blooming flowers lined in planters create an elegant dance square in the center of the room. Tapestries hang from the walls. Sconces burn with illum-laced coal, which gradually changes colors over the course of the night. Beatrice, what are you wearing?
I'm wearing a gown that was made a couple weeks ago out of silk. It's the color of the ocean, and it's wrapped. It has like a gold ribbon wrapped around it.
Okay. Where do you post up most often at your family's balls?
Next to the food.
Okay. It's quite the spread. There's a little bit of everything. They've been preparing for the last 2 days. And so only the freshest ingredients were cooked this afternoon, but there are piles and piles of sweetbreads, couple soups. It's set out kind of like a buffet, the emphasis being on the dance floor. And as you are piling this food onto your plate, a gentleman whom you recognize saunters over. It's Botten Buttenberg, the man that your mother has been hoping to introduce you to all night. And he says,
yes, I do also love to eat.
Excuse me, what?
Oh, I just noticed that you were preparing a plate, and I was just remarking on how we've so much in common, that I too love to eat.
Wow, did you think of that all on your own?
As a matter of fact, I've been standing right over there.
and he points across the dance floor to a huddle of fellows who are clothed very similarly, very invested in what's going on, and says,
and I've been waiting until the muse took me. I wanted my first impression to go well, and I believe that it has.
So well, if you love to eat, then you'll absolutely love the haggis. I recommend probably 5 servings of it. Can I get you some?
Oh, please. What is the haggis made of?
Oh, only the best parts of our animals. And I scoop up 3 servings of haggis and hand it to him. I know how much you love to eat. I think you will love it. Just try. Eat all of it, please.
Button takes the plate and then selects a very small fork from the table and raises a bite to.
Wait, I forgot to put. We have this very special sauce. We grow it from the peppers in our garden. And I grab the sauce and I douse it on there. I'm like, perfect. All right, go for it.
He takes a rather large bite for how small the fork is, and puts it in his mouth. And you can tell immediately that he's uncomfortable. And then the heat starts to rise in his face as the sauce does what you intended it to do. And chewing deliberately, he does force it down and say, I simply must share with my compatriots this food. And he bows to you and walks very quickly across the dance floor, ducking in between to get some distance.
And I say, goodbye, Buttons, or whatever your name was.
As you turn around, enjoying yourself, you run into your mother, the governess, who is also standing at the food table. Baroness. The Baroness. Beatrice, I promise to learn the hierarchy of your family.
I mean, you could call me the whatever.
Your mother, the Baroness,
right,
is standing at the food table as well, lifting a flute of champagne to her lips, and she has a rather knowing look on her face.
Hello, Mother. And I tentatively reach for a glass of champagne.
She just very, very subtly shakes her head.
I set it back to me. It's a lovely party, isn't it?
Indeed, it is. I've seen that you've met Botan.
Oh, Botan. I called him Buttons. Oops. Yes, I met him. I shared with him some of our famous haggis and some of the wonderful pepper sauce.
Beatrice?
Yes?
Do I need to meet any of the people at this ball?
I don't know exactly what you mean by that.
Do I need to be acquainted with anyone new? Do I need any new faces presented to me?
No, probably not.
Then why did I go to all this trouble?
Mother, you can't really expect me to like this man. He's got the IQ of a 5-year-old.
Beatrice, I don't expect you to do anything but give this man a chance. It is one evening. You must get to know some of these people. You must put yourself out there.
Right. I'll let him ask me to dance, and would that be okay? Would that be all right?
Yes. Beatrice, that would be wonderful.
Fine.
You know, you could try to enjoy yourself. Very well. You just must understand, Beatrice. Time is of the essence.
Would you like to finish that statement?
I will let your imagination do the rest while I go and fetch Botan.
Right.
She disappears into the crowd. Is there anything you'd like to do before somebody comes to ask you to dance?
I'd like to scan the crowd and see somebody else to dance with that I could go barge in on.
Yeah, sure. Roll perception.
12.
Okay. Uh, you see a couple parting. Without the familiarity of them being a couple proper, just as Botan is heading onto the dance floor. You will have an opportunity to try and step in and catch this other fellow. How would you like to go about it?
I think I'm gonna pull out a handkerchief and I'm just gonna drop it. And then I'm gonna stoop down, or I'm gonna drop it in front of him and just be like, oh no, my handkerchief. It fell on the ground.
This is in front of Botan?
No, this is from the
in front of the
gent.
other fellow.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. He puts up a hand to make sure that the spinning couple does not come and trample it, and he reaches down and scoops it up and says, "Well, I appear to have saved your day."
Thank you so much. And I grab his hand and, oh look, we're already holding hands. We might as well dance.
He smiles a little bit and says, "Of course." And the two of you start to spin through the dance floor. And as you do spin away, you see Botan's face fall as he turns around, just as your grandmother is stepping onto the dance floor and says, "Might I have this dance, Master Buttonberg?" And takes him. And you see Botan twirl away with your grandmother.
Thank you so much for dancing with me. Could you tell me something interesting about yourself? Anything?
About myself?
Yes.
Why, yes. I breed hunting dogs.
Ooh, really?
I do.
Do you enjoy it?
I enjoy the dogs far more than the hunt.
What's your favorite breed of dog?
Oh, well, the most popular is, of course, the bloodhound because of what it can do on the trail. But personally, I like the schnauzer. Loyal, smart, goddamn brave.
And what is your favorite dessert?
Sometimes I scoop the whipped cream off of the cakes and just put it onto a plate and eat it with my fingers. Why am I telling you these things?
I don't know. Probably because I asked.
What is your name?
My name? My name is Beatrice. What is yours?
I am Jean-Luc.
Jean-Luc?
Yes.
You're not from here? Where are you from?
Oh, we've recently arrived, traveling diplomat and all that. We managed to secure an invitation here at your house. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, you caught me. I was actually trying to get away from that one, and I point to Buttons.
Yes. I did hear him earlier talking about how much he likes to eat.
Yes, it was a very interesting way to lead into a conversation. So I sent him off with some very hot sauce that I think might hit his lower region pretty soon, and hopefully will send him to the toilets, if I'm lucky.
Jean-Luc twirls you one last time as the music comes to a close and bows and says, "Beatrice, I must confess, I am having a wonderful time, but I fear I must run away as fast as possible."
Oh, all right. Well, it was very lovely to meet you, Jean-Luc. Please don't make yourself a stranger here.
I will not. As he steps away, you do, of course, see the Baroness crossing the dance floor, headed your direction. And she gestures for you to follow her to her table.
I do.
Beatrice.
Mother, I don't know if you saw it, but I got to know one of the gentlemen. His name is Jean-Luc. He raises bloodhounds. I think he said bloodhounds, but his favorite is a schnauzer, and his favorite dessert is taking the whipped cream off of desserts. So I got to know someone. I did what you asked. May not be the person you asked me to do it with, but I did put myself out there. Can I be excused now?
Did Jean-Luc happen to introduce you to the ambassador, his fiancée?
No. And now I'm starting to try to remember what I said. I don't think I said anything offensive.
Perhaps you will do me this one service, Beatrice. Spend just a moment with Botan. Prove to me you've given him enough of a chance to reveal himself as the dolt he certainly is, and we will move on to the next name on the list.
All right, it is getting a bit hot. Maybe he can escort me outside on the balcony.
Yes, perhaps. Just remember, Beatrice, we are looking out for you, but we need you to perform those duties which are expected of you to secure our families. Well, power, influence, the reason any of these fools say yes to any of the invitations we send to them.
You really want me to marry a fool?
No, I don't, Beatrice, but I want you to marry someone. Just realize you'd never make it on your own, okay, my dear? You are nothing without family.
Yes, mother. And I curtsy.
She turns away just as Botan approaches and offers his hand. It's a cloudy day where bursts of sunlight stream down like your own personal spotlight. Knolls are covered with tilled farmland or open ranges for livestock. The bustle's different here. Work is oppressive as everyone keeps their eyes forward and focuses on their tasks. A perfect time to bring some joy into their lives as the tail end of a tune floats from your lips. Naomi, care to treat us to the end of your song?
Certainly. In all of my travels to far countries green, there is a rare wonder that I've never seen. I have never seen a straight banana. I have never seen a straight banana. Thank you.
While many of the farmers and laborers have stopped what they're doing to look at you with a rather strange look on their face, there is a much more fortified building off to the side of the road. It is thick bricks. All of the windows have sturdy metal bars crossed over them. And in a window that is a half circle creeping just above the dirt that you can tell is part of a basement, you see the hands, arms, and face of a man clapping wildly, saying, "Bravo! Bravo! Wonderful show! Wonderful show." The workers seem to try their best to ignore this fellow because he is behind bars and underground, but he is now leaning against them and saying, "What a wonderful treat on such an oppressive day."
I'm glad to bring a smile to your face. I go over and plop down next to the window, kind of dust off my clothes a little bit. What has landed you in this circumstance, my friend? You seem, really in there.
I am really in there indeed, and quite a circumstance it is. It seems that some of my research did not go over well with the locals, and they decided to put me on ice, as they say, until they figure out what to do with me.
Research? What were you doing?
Oh, well, I'm a scholar, you see. A rather ruggedly handsome one, if I do say so myself. But I've been known to comb through the library as frequently as I comb through the ruins. I've been looking into some
For the Alliance!
Anything interesting?
Well, that depends. Do you like magic? And he waves his hands in front of the bars and nothing happens. And he says, "Just kidding. Yes, I suppose so. Many of the artifacts are worth quite a pretty penny, though I'm far more interested in their historical relevance.
Really?
Yes.
There's a trade in historically interesting artifacts?
Of course.
Well, you must have landed here for a reason. Did you, I don't know, take someone's artifact and try to get historical with it, or what's going on?
Wow. It seems you see a man behind bars and so many assumptions leap off of your lips.
Well,
These-
they're not my personal assumptions, but, you know, we do live in a society, and it's all about that carceral state. So, you know, I'm not here for it, but we got to figure what landed you here.
I will answer two of the most interesting things that I think you said. The first being that these artifacts belong to no one. Their owners died a long time ago and have since sifted into the sands of time. I simply wish to bring them forward and celebrate their relevance. Secondly, we all do live in a society, but you, my gnomish friend, are a rare sight. And yet you are the second gnome I've seen in as many days.
Really? Now, it happens that sort of misplaced a friend of mine. Would you describe the other gnome?
Sure. Funny looking gnome. No
Funny
offense.
haha, or funny any particular shape, or just, you know, first
It
impression?
was kind of like a cantaloupe with broken broomsticks for limbs.
Oh my god, that's my friend Popo! That's totally
Popo!
him! Yeah!
Yes, I heard that. I thought it was a gnomish word for thief.
Well, it's sort of, that's semantics. He won roundest in our class when we were graduating. It was he's really kept it up, you know. Good for him. But so what was he doing? Where did you see him?
Oh, I actually saw him outside the tavern.
That checks out. Yeah.
He points through his bars, and one of the only buildings visible from his vantage would be the front of the tavern.
Mm-hmm. And was he coming or going?
I believe he was making a hasty exit.
Yeah, that also checks out. Okay. Well, how long ago was this?
Oh, must have been about yesterday.
About yesterday. Okay. Well, listen, I hate to chat and run, and I don't like to leave anyone behind bars, but I'm gonna go check and see if they know what he was up to. I'm sorry to leave you like this. I'm gonna go follow up with these guys at the at the tavern.
Oh, yes, of course. I completely understand. Although I would be careful as you describe your relationship to this Popo. They did not seem to take a liking to him.
You know, I don't blame them. Yeah, he's a special angel. Was he perhaps beating a hasty retreat, would you say? That's kind of the pace at which he usually moves.
It seems that the fellows in the tavern were trying to settle some dispute, a financial one. This Popo had a small pouch, about yay big. He was clutching it tighter than I've ever seen anyone clutch anything. It seems the fellows, of whom the dispute was being settled, insisted he use the contents of the pouch to pay his debts, though Popo refused adamantly and fought tooth and nail to escape.
Oh my god, it's the only sensible thing he's ever done. Okay, all right. But he had the pouch with him when he left. He had the pouch.
Yes. May I ask? I've expressed that I am a ruggedly handsome altruist who enjoys the good historical item. What was it that was in that pouch?
Oh, well, I mean, you know how people get sentimental about trivial things, you know, little tchotchkes and trinkets, and they're not really valuable, but it's the memories that are attached, you know, and that's really where the value lies with
Sure.
that.
That must be where the value lies. Anyways, it seemed these fellows were insistent it would more than cover his debt. So I just assumed it would have a hefty financial price.
Well, I mean, there's a good chance that it was the only thing he had on him. I mean, Popo is famous for not leaving the house with anything but the lint in his pockets. So if you're gonna, fleece someone, you got to come away with something, even if it's a, I'm gonna go to the tavern, and you've been invaluable. You truly, you do not exaggerate your looks, and I wish you great conquests in the fields of romance and science.
Yes, of course. Before you go, might I ask your name?
Oh, it's Naomi.
Naomi, a pleasure.
Yes.
I'm Eston.
It's very nice to meet you. I hope that your stay in this jail is short.
Thank you, as do I. Just be careful, because I have a feeling that these simple folk of this town will assume one gnome is as good as another and expect you to settle this Popo's debts.
I appreciate the heads up, and frankly, if we're in a kind of place where people are, throwing researchers in jail, you gotta keep your wits about you. Am I right? These backwater,
Yes, indeed.
these backwater places. Okay. Well, it's been a pleasure. Tara.
Oh, yes, of course. If it turns out that the folks at the tavern don't know where this Popo went, come back and see me. I might be of service.
Oh, I certainly will. I'd love to hear more about your artifacts. I'm always interested in shiny historical things.
As am I.
All right.
What would you like to do, Naomi?
I'm gonna beat it across the street and see what's up at the watering hole.
Sure. You enter the tavern. It is a functional place. There's not much on the walls. A couple tapestries that depict some of the town's history. A lot of farm work. I think that any of the deities that they would recognize would be tied to the land. And so this little corner of the village that you are in is dealing with the land. You enter into a rather unoccupied tavern, as it is early in the day.
Yeah.
But there is a bartender and a couple older patrons far down who are nursing drinks.
I wonder if anyone does a double take, seeing a gnome come through the door.
The bartender doesn't seem to see you. He looks when the door opens and then can't see who it is that walked in and goes back. The older patrons at the bar do a double take, though, and they start whispering to each other.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. Play it casual. Just go up to the bar and kind of climb hand over hand up onto one of the stools and see about some lunch.
When you poke your head above the bar, the bartender who's wiping it goes, "Oh!" Sorry, didn't see you. What is it I might get for you?
Oh, I was feeling a little parched on my way and was hoping for something, frosty and liquid and, maybe something that'll give me a little buzz for my trip. What time is it? It's 2:00 somewhere, right?
It is indeed. He takes a moment to just look over you before going and pouring a pint. And when he does, he stands to the side, and you can see that they've actually hooked up some kind of contraption to the casks. And when the ale pours into the cup, you can see the mug actually frost over.
Do the mountains turn blue?
Yes. And he goes, "Silver bullet." He sets the pint on the bar, and it looks to be crisp and clean and straight out of the Rocky Mountains, and very refreshing. But he does not slide it towards you, and he says, "I'll have you know that we don't take credit as of yesterday, so you'll be needing to pay up front."
I see. It's no problem. I don't know of a tavern that takes credit, actually. That seems like it never works out for anyone. I go into my money pouch and pull out a coin, slide it across the bar.
He takes the coin, bites it, is satisfied, and slips it into his apron and says, "I'm not surprised that a gnome isn't familiar with establishments that take credit, nor would they trust it.
That's fair. What's you said this was a policy change as of yesterday. That's had a difficult day, I suppose.
There was a fellow in here about your height who was unable to pay off several debts, their bar tab among other gambling debts.
That's a shame. What how did you resolve that?
The bartender slides the pint to you now and says, "We didn't, but we'd sure like to."
Interesting. Well, what, did you lock him in the basement, or what, what's your plan?
We couldn't get our hands on him. He's a slippery fellow, but, well, we're still trying to settle the tab. You wouldn't know anything about a gnome that came through these parts recently, would you? Goes by the name of Po-Po.
It rings a bell. It does, but it's a common name. You know how like one year everyone is named Dave or Max, you know, and then there's like Popo R, Popo S, Popo G, you know, and it's like, anyway, so I might know who you're talking about. Yeah, it does. Yes. Yeah. He does. He's not great with money. So we may be talking about the same guy.
Oh,
you don't know.
A friend of yours?
Well, friend. I mean, casual combatant acquaintance. You know, it's who defines things these days. It's labels. Who needs them? Where did he go?
If I knew that, I wouldn't be here talking to you about a debt that is unpaid.
I suppose that's fair. I just wonder if we can help each other. It seems like we're both eager to get our hands on him.
We believe he left town. We're not sure which direction, but I could offer you a deal. Were you able to find this Popo and deliver them to us?
I'm listening.
I'd be willing to pay for the privilege of settling these bets.
At what cost?
You'll receive half of what Popo owes us.
Sounds fair. Sounds fair. Anything you can give me? Did he put up a fight before he left? Did he just vanish into thin air?
He was quite the ferocious little muppet.
Mm-hmm.
The bartender pulls a chair over and puts his leg up on it, rolls up his trousers, and you can clearly see several bite marks in his calf.
Oh, I hope you washed those. Oh, that looks bad. I'm awfully sorry. I really promise we usually don't resort to biting unless we're really freaked out, so.
Yes, well, if you hope to find this Popo, you will need to do so on your own, which is why I'm willing to pay. He slipped out in the night. We've been to all the inns nearby. It seems that he wouldn't want to have stayed in town.
Fair. You know, sometimes he has moments of clarity. Well, I guess we're burning daylight, and I pick up the pint and toss it back. No use hanging around here letting the grass grow.
It's a very big drink. Roll a Constitution check.
Hell yeah. Why not? Oh no. Let's see. That's a 2.
You're buzzing, and you got the hiccups.
Oh no.
Was that a natural 1?
No, it's just a 2.
Okay. What would you like to do, Nahum?
I will, oh God. So I'm going to see if I can deal with this hiccup thing. My hiccup cure is you hold your ears closed and somebody else holds a glass for you and you drink out of it while holding your ears. So I asked the barkeep, I see I've overindulged a little. Would you indulge me just for a moment? Just hold a glass of water for me. I hate the hiccups. I hate them.
Would you please roll, I think, persuasion?
Okay. Oh, God. Let's see. Okay, a 4.
Okay. He takes a small bowl off the bar and tosses some peanuts that were in it onto a floor, and then scoops water out of the sink, then slides this to you and says, "You're welcome to keep the bowl and do whatever it is that you would like, but we're going to ask that you go and find someone else to hold it for you while you drink. I believe our business is concluded."
All right. Well, thanks for the bowl. And I will, I'll see if I can't bring that little rascal back by his ear.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to drink from the far side of the bowl where you like lean over all the way. And
Where are you doing this?
just at the bar.
He's like, "You gotta go."
All right. Go outside, do it up front.
Okay. As you're standing there leaning over the bowl, you hear from across the street, "Well, I've never quite seen such an effective hiccup cure." And Eston is watching you with his arms on his jail cell window as you are struggling to pour this into your mouth. Perhaps I could be of assistance.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Oh, that would be great. Sort of stumble across the road. Oh, and also, hey, free bowl. It's a good one.
Nice.
Okay, here's what you do. You hold this, and I get him to stick his little arms through the thing. You hold the bowl.
He does.
I'm gonna close my ears, and then you just tip it, and then just don't pour it on me like all the way. But I'm just gonna drink the water. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Great.
He fucking kills it.
Oh, Eston, what a guy.
And your hiccups are gone.
Oh, great. You know what is really hard to do when you have the hiccups? Be stealthy and catch your stupid friends when they're not expecting it. So this is really putting me ahead. This is great.
I take it you are on the way to go find this Popo.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna get him.
Excellent. So you know which direction he went.
No, I have no idea. I don't at all. I don't have a clue. He could have gone. He could be anywhere. He could be anywhere.
He could.
He said
Perhaps.
cagily.
Yes, cagily indeed, and he shakes the bars.
Eston! You're too much.
It just so happens that your friend mumbles to himself when he's upset. Have you noticed?
Oh my god, it drives me crazy. Yes, he does that.
Well, I happened to hear some mumbling outside my cell last night. It was hard to get any sleep with all the ruckus across.
Gosh. Anything come through?
Yes, you could say that. But it seems that I am in a position to barter.
Are you, though? You're in jail. You know?
What was it that was in that little pouch? I suspect you're after it far more than you're after Popo.
What, I mean, well, you know, it is the single most beautiful object on this planet. But you know what else? It's the principle.
Oh, yes.
Is what it is.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Fine. Obviously, I'm not the only cagey one. I'll make you a deal, Naomi. An opportunity to present yourself as the hero I think you are.
All right.
Now, I will not only tell you where Popo was headed, but I will perhaps help you get there. If, and only if, you help me exit this jail cell.
Do I exit the jail cell? I'll help you exit the jail cell. Let's go. That's a great idea. You know what sucks? Just being in jail. Let's get you out of here, man. Let's hit the road. You can't come with me though, because there's a height discrepancy and it's complicated.
A rather large one, yes.
Yeah. But no, let's get you out of here. Okay, tell me what's going on inside. Is there like a door with like a lock and like these kind of things, or what does it look like in there? Give me the rundown.
Naomi, I have a feeling we are going to get along swimmingly.
Oh, totally. I feel like I've known you for
Why?
years. It's great.
Why don't you go sleep it off while I make some of the initial preparations? If you meet me back here at this window tonight,
Ah,
by moonlight, we shall be able to get on our way to find Popo.
oh my God, this is great. A jailbreak by moonlight. This is like a caper, is what this is. This is great. Okay, I'm gonna go find some grass and sleep, and then I'll see you here when at night with light, the moonlight.
He extends his hand through the bars.
Do I should I should shake it, I guess. I go.
Yeah, when you shake, it's firm but friendly. However, his hand is a bit colder than you would expect. But he does give you a nice firm handshake and say, I look forward to our adventures, Naomi.
As do
You scuttle off to go find some grass to sleep in.
Yeah.
Iratran, your vision returns to you. It seems that you had blacked out, but when you find yourself staring up, there is a rather large profile blocking out the sky. Argus, you are standing over the badly wounded, thirsty, hungry body of a high elf. You've come upon this person in the wastelands. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna
Wait.
kick him. Lightly, like more of a tap kick.
You tap him. Iratran, how do you respond?
Ow.
Oh,
Good morning.
he's alive. See, I told you he'd be alive. Well, of course he's gonna be alive. He's moving. I mean, he was moving when he first saw him. He was talking to himself. He's moving, but he's alive. Hello. Hi.
Hello.
You seem like you're in need of help. Would you
That
like
is-
some help?
I would love so much help.
Oh,
Do you have
okay.
water? Do you have water?
I can do that. I sure can do that. I'm gonna cast Create Water.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Would
And-
you just explain to Iratran who he sees standing in front of him as you prepare to cast this spell?
Sure. Well, standing in front of him, with the beautiful sunlight standing behind him as I shadow over him, you see a slender elf, around 6 feet tall, covered in just a hide chest piece, with what looked to be very, very kind of torn and raggedy clothes of sorts. Looks like everything is pretty much the same color as desert sand.
Mhm.
So it's monochromatic in scale in a lot of ways. With an enormous pack on that seems to have every single valuable you possibly could have, but it's also covered in complete amounts of sand. So everything that you see is sand.
You're a sand person.
Pretty much.
Okay.
I am the equivalent of a Jawa. I'm a Jawa, except for taller.
That is a really tall person.
Hmm.
Okay.
With a very
So,
good shape.
Iratran, you watch as this person creates water. What does that look like, Argus?
Well, the water itself I'm creating is basically just using movements and pulling from the elements around. I pull a ball of water, kind of pulling the moisture from the air. It kind of comes from all over the place and surrounds. And this ball forms. It's about the same size as 2 or 3 handfuls. And then just a little, almost like turning a spigot on, just kind of starts pouring out of it and onto Iratran's face. Just
I suppose this is as good as it's gonna get.
I mean,
it is surprisingly tasty. It is sweet water, and it is cold and refreshing, and exactly what you need. And as you sit there lapping up this water at the feet of this savior of yours, you do see black smoke begin to rise out of the sands. Inky
Careful.
motes of darkness crackle, gather, and grow. Black mist rises from the scorching sands and forms into very real, very barbed claws and hardback shells. Burning red eyes leer at you as the chaos claw crabs attack. Eurotren, these look surprisingly similar to what you experienced on the beach, only larger, about the size of a large dog. And there are 2 of them.
Ooh.
Everybody roll for initiative.
Ooh. Well then, right into it, aren't we?
14.
The water is still just pouring out. And it's like
Yes.
just staring over my shoulder.
I'm really thirsty. I was like in water, but it's not the kind of water you want to drink.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. I know that kind of water. Could I purify that kind of water? Yeah, I could purify that kind of water. That's right. I'm sorry. What?
Nothing to.
Argus, you got 14?
Yeah. No.
Or Eurotren did?
Eurotren
I
got a
got it.
14.
Okay.
Argus got a 9.
Excellent. Okay. Eurotren, is your turn.
I'm going to go ahead and bust out my scimitar and my short sword and swipe at the first one.
Roll to attack.
21.
That hits. Roll for damage.
I mean, that water, by the way, saved my life. Thank you. 8.
You bring your sword down and crack the crab in half. It explodes into tendrils of inky black smoke that dissipate into the air. The crabs go next, and they seem to be focused on the water that is formed in the air in front of you, Argus, and the crab attacks. That's going to be a 6. You step out of the way as 2 large pinchers clack in the air where you were just a moment before, which brings us to you, Argus.
Yes. I am going to, as the water is still kind of dripping out of this, this ball that's still there, and I look over at Eurotren and say, "I have 10 gallons of this. Don't worry. Just give me a second." And I'm going to whip out my sickle and try to attack the one that just attacked me.
Roll for it.
It's a dirty 20.
Okay. Roll for damage.
Slice. Ooh, it's 5 points of damage.
Okay. You bring the sickle down on top of the crab, and several of its legs and one of its pinchers break off, writhing around in the sand before they too turn into black smoke. But the crab is still up, though it does not look good. It now is... I was about to try and attack you back. It is now Eurotren's turn.
Now I'm going to attack it. Short sword now. You know, I'm feeling that scimitar. Cut one in half. Let's go again.
Roll it.
Seriously, though, that water, life-changing. 23.
Oh my gosh. Roll for damage.
It's like night and day. I just sliced for 10.
Yeah.
Nice.
You bring it in an under arc that flings the crab up into the air, and it just, poof, is gone.
I faced
The
a
two
few
of you?
them.
Would you
And-
like some more water?
Oh my god, if I keep slicing crabs like that, yes.
You know, if you have something to hold it in, I could just, you could have a lot of water if you'd like some more water.
You've got water
I-
skins, Eurotren.
Okay, I'm gonna bust out 2 water skins.
I
Since I have
offer
some-
as well hit my water skin, but it's covered in dust, and it's pretty much just
I feel like 2 will
Dusty.
be fine, man.
like
I
muddy
appreciate
water. Okay.
it.
With 10 gallons of water, we'll say that's easily going to be enough for you guys, if you're careful, for 2 days. Easy.
Okay.
So you've got some water now. Eurotren, what is your HP?
3.
Okay. You have been unable to get a proper short rest. It seems that you had actually passed out due to exposure. So you are going to stay at 3. None of your rest reset moves are available, things like second wind, etc.
Yeah, because I'm in the desert. It's fun.
Right. So you two now stand amidst some damp sand. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna go ahead and shake your hand, Argus. Hi.
Oh, we're doing that. Okay. I haven't shucken anything for a long time. Am I doing it right?
You're doing a fantastic job. Life-changing, even.
Oh, yes.
Where
well,
did you come from? There's nothing around here.
the Duskwell said that you would be here, so here I am.
Dustwell? I'm sorry, I'm not.
Well, if I tried to explain it, we'd be here for a while, but it's real. So.
Well, you can tell by my wounds I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. But maybe you could tell me.
Do
the way,
you need a rest?
like-
Do you need a rest? Would you like to take a nap or a cat nap? I could spread
Someplace
myself very
better.
wide so you could meditate. I know us elves need to focus, so I can spread myself like a big shadow, and you can meditate for 4 hours if you'd like to.
Yes, please. That would be amazing. I mean, are you a tree as well? How do you spread yourself?
Oh, my friend, we are all trees.
You are an elf, sir.
Noted. I am an elf, but I don't feel like maybe I'm a lot of seawater in me. Okay, I'm
I
just
can
not
purify
quite
that. If you're
yet.
full of seawater, I can take care of that too.
If you could get it out of my lungs as I sit here swishing around,
I'm not sure if you want me to do that.
we'll just go ahead and let them do.
Why
their
don't you
thing,
Why
then.
don't you take a breather and I'll stand like a tree over him if he can find a way to possibly meditate in the shade of myself.
Yeah, I would allow it. I also would say that if you have the supplies to set up a camp of some kind,
I do. Yeah.
that you
Well,
could also do that. You could then
You know,
pose
stand over
without.
me, casting a shadow for 4 hours.
You could then pose without the
I have
responsibility.
done worse, sir. I have done worse.
Just imagine you standing there like,
Oh,
Ulta.
what is your name, High Elf?
Iratran.
Iratran.
Yeah, and yours.
Iratran. Oh, I am Argus, the Duskwell. Hello.
Hello. Wait, are you the Dustwell or
No, the Duskwell is real.
the Duskwell is real?
Yes.
But you said you're Argus the Duskwell.
Of the Duskwell.
Oh, okay.
It's real.
I believe. I mean, you conjured water out of thin air. I'll believe basically anything you say.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm having a life-changing moment. I'm sorry. I washed ashore here.
I'll tell you now a secret. The sun is a big ball of gas.
And you know what? That is good information to know. Could you maybe build our camp?
I think that this is happening while you guys are putting the camp together. Argus doles out a few more of these gems as the two of you set things up. But he does create, breaking down the backpack, he's able to create several supports for larger pieces of fabric. And the two of you create essentially like a blind out in these dunes. And you will be able to find some solace here. So I think that night is coming on as camp is finished, and the two of you sit down to share a little bit of food. Argus, this is your show. What kind of libations are you providing for your guest?
Well, I say, is this your first time in the desert, Iratran?
I'm usually on the water.
Well, you may be surprised to know this, but there isn't a lot of stuff that's alive out here. However, I've discovered that if you give to the circle of life, it'll provide for you. And I cast Goodberry.
Okay.
And basically create a little handful of berries.
All right, roll that D10 and add your wisdom.
I will.
Or your spellcasting modifier, so you get a little bonus.
It's a total of 8.
Okay. 8 good berries appear in your hand as black smoke starts to emanate out of the sands at your feet. And 2 more of the crab creatures claw their way into existence and descend on the camp. We're going to hold the same initiative as last time, which means it's going to be the crab's turn. One of them, there's 2 more, they seem to travel in pairs, lunges at you, Argus, for a total of 20, a dirty 20.
Ooh, that does hit.
So, you take 1 point of damage. You just about get out of the way, but the pincher grabs your leg on your leap, and you manage to keep the good berries in your hand. The second crab heads for Iratran. That is going to be a 21. They have very small pluses. I just rolled very well. And Iratran, as the second one lunges to pinch you, you take 2 points of damage.
Uh-oh.
Which brings us to Argus.
Yes.
What would you like to do?
Oh my goodness gracious, this is fun. I'm going to I have the berries in my hand. Am I currently next to Iratran?
Yes, I think that you are all, at this point, because the crabs have moved in to engage, within 5 feet of each other.
Okay. I would like to attack the one that just actually nicked me,
Please do.
because that makes...
With the sickle again?
Yes, please. It's a 16.
Okay, that is going to hit. Roll damage.
Kill it. Kill it.
It's only 2 points of damage this time.
You knock it good, but it is still up.
Knock it good.
Yes.
Yes?
Is it possible I can just try to toss him a berry somehow or another?
The crab?
No, Iratran.
I would say that an interact would allow you to hand him a berry.
Okay. Hey, you still hungry?
Berry.
Just toss him a berry.
Yeah, Iratran, you've been tossed this berry. Will you describe what they look like, Argus?
Yeah, I mean, they look like they would be the equivalent of a very tiny plum.
Okay.
A very larger than a normal berry, yet smaller than like a plum would be. So like almost handheld size, kind of.
Cool.
You could still eat it in one bite, just take a decent amount of chewing.
Sure. Argus flicks you one of these, and you catch it deftly there, Iratran. If you'd like to eat it, I will also count that as an interact. It's as simple as popping a berry into your mouth.
Okay, then cool. Because I was like, chewing and swinging a sword is probably not a good idea. That's the way to bite your tongue off.
What does it do when he eats it, Argus?
It's almost like the best description I can have is that it tastes like Pop Rocks. Like it explodes in your mouth and gives you a zest of energy just for a brief second, and it completely fulfills your needs for hunger for a day.
Oh, cool.
And you also gain 1 hit point back.
Okay. Iratran, mark 1 HP. I'm going to give you advantage on your next roll as the pop rock sensation revitalizes you immediately. It is now your turn.
Like a Mentos commercial. You give me water, you give me good berries.
I'm the fresh man.
Oh, yeah. Swinging at that. Man, every time you give me water and good berries, I'm swinging for like 19, 20.
That's going to hit.
All right.
Roll for damage.
7.
Okay.
I should have specified. I went for the one that just hit me because screw that.
I figured. You cleave it in half and it disperses into black smoke. You do have a second attack if you would like to take it with your offhand.
You are very good at this cleaving crabs thing.
I've had some time with a scimitar. All right. Going short sword now just to show off.
Okay. Swing
15.
it. That is going to hit. Roll damage.
9.
You finish off the crab Argus injured, skewering it onto your short sword and lifting it up into the air as it blows away on the breeze.
I was going to eat that.
You probably don't want to.
You don't want to eat. No, Jackin used to say, smoking crab, not a good idea for your tummy.
Fair.
Yeah.
These good berries are something magical, though. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. You want another one? I've got 7 more.
Yes, please.
So I give him another one. And I'm going to pop one in my mouth as well,
sure.
too.
So. You guys get 1 HP for every good berry that you eat.
Mm-hmm.
You had up to 8, Argus. You've doled out 2 to Iratran and 1 to yourself. You're welcome to disperse them as you see fit to heal up or just munch.
I'm going to give him 2 more for right now and store the final 3 in case we need them later on. Cool. For a day.
The sun is now starting to set, and the 2 of you settle into camp. I feel like I want one more little scene here. Argus, I would say feel free to speak to this stranger who you found in the wastelands.
You know, The Duskwall said that you would be here, and it said to save you and get you to safety. I'm not really sure if we're safe yet. Did I do that okay? I'm not sure if I did that okay. It sounds like I did okay. Yeah.
I think that as long as we don't cast any more magic, I think that's what's summoning those crabs.
Really?
But-
But the entire world is magic. We live in a magical place.
Well, I'm just going by consistency. I summoned flame. I can do a green flame blade, and
Ooh.
yeah, it's pretty.
Can
awesome.
I see that?
Can we do that later? I think I'm done chopping crabs for now.
Iratran, roll Arcana.
Ooh. 4.
Okay. You test your theory as it is coming to you, and you just allow the faintest bit of your magic to collect on a fingertip. And in that moment, you see just a thin ribbon of smoke exit the sand. And you cut the spell off in time. But as you are thinking about what might be drawing these crabs, your little experiment tells you that much.
Okay. And it looks like it might even be proportional to how much magic we use. You must be powerful. I was only able to bring one crab, and you brought 2 crabs twice.
Do you want some more water? I can make you some more water if you'd like to.
I've got plenty in the skins. Well,
Okay.
actually, we haven't put any in the skins yet. We were going to put some in the skins, and then we got rudely interrupted.
Oh no, we have skins of water. Well, I mean, it is dark, and it seems like you are at the very least more comfortable than you were before with all the kind of going on. So maybe perhaps I should let you rest. Should I let him rest? Yeah, I should let him rest. That's a good idea. Should I let him? Maybe.
Well, do you know? Can I ask you though?
But
Why?
really, honestly, if he doesn't need to rest, should we just talk to him about what's going? Sorry, what?
Who are you speaking to?
Oh. He doesn't see you. Nobody at all.
All right. Nobody at all. Well, I do appreciate. I do appreciate all of the help. I really do. I would be dead right now if that were not for you.
I am here to save you, and that is what I did. So I did it right.
Do you know to what aims? I mean, do you or your magical companion do you know why you saved me, or is it just so I can not bleed to death?
The Duskwell told me to find you and try to get you to what you've lost.
Then we need to go to the sea.
Yes, sea. It said take him to sea. So that would make sense. What's a sea?
Really? The ocean. It's where I was from.
Oh,
Have you ever seen the ocean?
I've heard about it before.
It's glorious. Imagine the most blue thing you've ever seen, and it's sparkling.
The most blue thing I've ever seen is the sky.
Darker blue than that. Deep,
Oh.
dark blue, almost as if the sky met the night sky.
Ooh. That sounds cool. I want to see that. That sounds great. I like that idea. That's exciting. I've been in this desert for so long, I don't even know exactly what has been going on. How long have I been here? Really? I don't believe him. No.
You shouldn't. He seems like a liar. I'm gonna go ahead and meditate and
You
rest up.
shouldn't say that out loud.
I shouldn't say. Okay. He seems like an angry. You can.
No. He doesn't seem to be saying much right now, but I wouldn't.
Okay.
Mhm.
I didn't mean to offend your magical friend.
Oh, no.
On that
Okay.
strangely intimidating and cryptic note, Iratran rolls over to meditate as Argus sits there and watches over him. We cut to darkness, save for a light drifting through a keyhole. On the other side, we see a face, a scar, and the white of an eye. Triss, you and Jer are poised over a small locked box in the upstairs room of a house in Portuak. You know that the family is currently having dinner downstairs. What you seek should be, according to Jer, in this box right here. I swear it. I know it wasn't in a drawer. I know it wasn't under the bed, and I know it wasn't in the closet. But in this box, that's where it's got to be.
You're sure?
Pretty sure, yeah. Pretty sure.
How sure is pretty sure? I know
Pretty
you and you're
more
pretty
sure than I was about the drawer and under the bed.
All right. You willing to wager on that?
Yeah.
How much?
I'll take half of your half if I'm right.
All right. I'll take all of your half if I'm right.
He reaches up behind his ear and produces a lockpick, which he extends to you.
Thank you. And I put it in the lock.
That will be sleight of hand, which I believe, because you have thieves' tools, you will roll with advantage.
Oh, okay. 15.
Just as you hear the lock click open, you do hear several of the chairs downstairs scoot back and then screech in. It seems the dinner is breaking up. And at least one pair of feet starts walking up the door. And Jer looks to you, then the window, and says, "Shit.
What do you mean, shit?
We're running out of time. Open the box."
Fine. Open the box.
Inside, there is 5 gold coins, 2 different necklaces, and a bracelet made of pearls. And Jer says, "Shit, I just lost all that to you. Grab it, we gotta go."
I grab it.
Okay. Jer hops up onto the windowsill and pushes open the 2 panels and reaches down for your hand.
I grab it. I got it.
Sure. He
Yeah.
hoists you out and flings you out above the alley so that you are now soaring through the air. Roll acrobatics, please.
$15.
You are able to, not as glamorously as you would hope, grab the railing of a balcony across the way and catch yourself. Jer, following your lead, leaps out after you. Please roll, I think, just a strength check.
It's a natural one.
You know that you need to catch him because he's not going to make it, but his hand slips right out of yours and he crashes down into the garbage cans that are below you, in time for someone to poke their head out of the window, the 2 of you just leapt out of, and yell, "Thieves!"
And I forget my accent. I'm like, oh shit! Yeah! Are you okay? I'm so sorry!
He explodes out of the rubbish. There's like a pot of spaghetti on his hand that looks like his head that looks like a wig. And he's just saying, "Shit, shit, shit." And he hops
looks
out
so
of
funny.
He hops out of the trash and takes off down an alley. You are currently on the 2nd floor balcony of a place across this street. And the person on the balcony is continuing to yell, "Thieves, help, thieves, thieves." And you can now hear some bells being rung on the corner as some of the guards are gathering and heading down both sides of the street. Jer is gone.
I'm just gonna head towards where I last heard his voice and see if I can
Okay.
find trails of spaghetti.
I think that you would be able to climb up onto the roof to stay out of the reach of these guards and still follow the alley that he just took.
Okay.
Yeah, just give me like an acrobatics check to see how we're gonna do some parkour here.
Yes. That's better. That's a 20.
Okay, yeah. You just scramble up the side of this building, no problem, and then start running along the roofs, jumping between the small gaps between. And it doesn't take you long until you see Jer, who is clawing spaghetti off of his head and sprinting down the street. He does look over his shoulder, doesn't see you behind him because he's looking in the alley, and keeps going.
I'm just gonna follow him. Jared,
Okay.
come on. I said I'm sorry. I'll give you the bracelet.
He looks and says, "Oh shit! What? Tris? No, we just gotta go. I'm not gonna wait for you. We gotta get out of here."
Fine.
and-
All right. I'll follow you.
As he turns around to yell that to you, he runs smack into a dumpster and falls over. But you are able to continue on, and he does get up and go.
I look back and I'm like, ah. And I keep running.
It seems as though the guards are starting to follow you down the alley, though they are quite a ways behind. What tactic would you like to employ on either getting away from them or staying hidden?
I think I'd like to hide in a. Is there a trash bin?
Roll stealth.
Okay. Uh, 17.
Yeah, you're able to get to the edge of this line of buildings and hop down Assassin's Creed style to kind of into one of the dumpsters. Jer, seconds after, catapults into it and hits face first into the opposite side and then rolls over in the trash. We're actually going to have him take some damage from all this. Jer's going to take 3 HP from all this shenanigans. But you two close the lid over you and you are now in this dumpster, this wooden plank dumpster, as you hear the guards running about, ringing their bell, looking for you. This goes on for a while, but eventually, it seems the coast is clear. And Jer says, "Oh, God, that was close, huh?"
That was amazing. It was so much fun. I loved it. Did you like my accent? Did I blend really well? Here, let me practice. Did I blend really well?
Tris, you weird me out. I'm just gonna come
you
clean.
out. You've known me since I was little.
Yeah, and I like the disguise. As far as I'm concerned, you're Tris. All right, you don't need to practice on me. You convince me.
All right. Look, I don't want to get found. I've got to perfect it.
Yeah. All right. Now, let's just say someone went to a lot of trouble to find out where the gems were hidden. So much trouble that they almost got pinched by the guards before the heist even started. And then let's say that person made a stupid bet so that all their hard earnings would end up in someone else's pocket. How would you feel about that person?
Are you trying to tell me you want me to buy you dinner?
Now that sounds lovely.
All right.
You wait the appropriate amount of time before slapping open the plank lid of this little wooden dumpster, and Jer climbs out, and then in a very pompous fashion extends his hand and says, "M'lady, may I help you out of your carriage?"
Yes, but 1 second, and I pick some spaghetti out of his hair, like there.
He shakes his head.
Yes, please. Thank you so much. And I take his hand.
He lets you down. It's about that time that you start to hear another ruckus from a rather large and strange-looking inn down the way. It seems that there is someone, and you actually recognize them, Tris, because it's... What the fuck was his name? It's Botan, who you saw earlier. he is standing outside the front steps of this inn saying, "Now I'll have you realize, sir," and he's addressing a tank of a man. We're talking almost 1.5 times as tall as Botan, full plate armor, long sword on the back, holding a little coconut as a goblet, lounging in front of this door, clearly the person checking the list to see who gets inside. And Botan says, "I'll have you know that I'm exceptionally connected to the nobility around here, and I just so happen to be slumming this evening and would like to be seeing all of the sights." But the person in the big set of armor and the big sword says, "It doesn't matter who your daddy is or how much gold you have. This place is for heroes only. And you, sir, are about as far from the guest list as anybody I've seen this evening." And Botan says, "Well, I will be filing a formal complaint." And he turns and walks away, and that little posse you saw who was watching you two from the dance floor follows along. And Jer says, "Well, ain't that something you don't see every day?"
Yeah, my mother tried to set me up with him. So embarrassing.
For the Alliance!
Trish. Oh. Okay. It looks like we're getting a raid here.
For
So
the
welcome to the in
Alliance!
crowd. We're in the midst of a scene while we're dealing with, well, a character in disguise who's trying to get into a rather difficult to get into place. What's up? What's their name, Casey? VTOL Studios, thanks for hopping into the in crowd. It's our premiere tonight. We love having you. Thank you so much. Triss,
For the Alliance!
at the mention of your mother and her trying to set you up with someone, it seems the merriment that Jer was just showing has dissipated a little bit. And he says, "You know, if you don't gotta, you ain't gotta buy me dinner or nothing. I'm sure I could find something."
Oh, I'm buying you dinner.
For
It's
the
happening.
Alliance!
It's the least I can do. This job was your idea.
Yeah. It's just that if you got plans or you don't want to be seen,
I've worked on my accent. It's pretty good. And they have unlimited breadsticks, and I know how much you love breadsticks.
I do love breadsticks so much.
They are the best in the whole of the city.
All right.
You just got to lose your accent, okay?
What?
Yes. We're going to pretend to be a normal pair of 20-year-olds, and we're visiting the city. See, you can do it. You can do it. Repeat to me. Hello, my name is Jer.
Hello. My name is Jer.
Perfect. We can do it, all right?
You'll need to order for me and I'll just stay silent, I think.
That's fine. You can be the silent one. It's not a problem. All right?
As the two of you take off down the lane, you pass a lone tree. It's the only one you've seen on this side of the city. The only tree, and it is imposing. It leaps out at you as you pass it, and Jer gives it a wide berth as he leads you farther down the lane.
What's with that tree?
Oh, it's the last. Oh, and he points to that inn where the gentleman in the plate armor is standing, and you can see that it says the Last Oak Inn above the door. And he says, "We ain't welcome in there. You heard the man, heroes only, and I got a long way to go, huh?"
I think you're a pretty great hero, and I think that we could pretend the little extra that we need. I want to eat there. We've got enough money. Let's do it.
How about this, Tris? Because I am starving and I know it ain't gonna work. Why don't we go get them unlimited breadsticks? And if you're dead set on trying to get back into this place, perhaps we make it our plan for the evening, and maybe you could stay out past curfew.
Deal.
All right. As the two of you walk away, let me look at what's your passive perception there, Tris?
My passive perception is 13.
Okay. Roll perception.
That's a 5.
Okay. There's something on the wind. It's a smell that is familiar at first. It is quite specific, so you're having to like figure out what it is. But with a 5 perception, it drifts away before you pay it any more thought, and you and Jer go to get those unlimited breadsticks.
Okay.
Naomi, you wake up from your nap and head in the dark of night towards Eston's window. He is there waiting for you.
All right. Eston, you, me, Caper, Moonlight, let's get you out of here.
Oh, wow. Practically bubbling.
I'm glad. Keep that energy. That's positivity. We're going to need that. All right. So talk to me about what's going on inside where you are. Is there there's the interior door or what? What does it look like in there?
Yeah, it's not going to be too difficult, as a matter of fact. I spent the day doing a little intelligence gathering. Now, these folks in town have not charged me with anything yet. It seems that they're just a little nervous in my presence and they aren't quite sure what they'd like to do. So I'm not under too heavy guard. There is, however, a sleepover here who will be watching the building. You will need to deal with him, but he is asleep. I've seen to that.
Excellent. Well done. All right. Can I fit between these bars?
Roll.
I'm very small.
What do
is
you
the
roll
thing.
for that? Just roll
Yeah.
acrobatics.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, that's a 7.
You try. Aston seems very excited by this proposition. But you get just your legs through before you can't quite get your hips past. So you just got your little legs kicking through, and he says, "Yes, about as much as I expected. I'm not entirely sure what we both would have done being locked in jail, but I do appreciate the idea."
I'm just trying to get on your level, man. You know, we got to even the playing field here.
I feel you. Now, I think if you sneak in the front door, you should be able to get back to where my cell is. You can either try to pick the lock or take the keys away from the fellow who's holding them. But I leave that up to you. It's clear to me you are, and he's saying this to you as you are trying to unstick yourself from the bars, a consummate professional.
Okay. All right. Aston, can you hear me?
I can.
Super. Okay, let's go over that again.
You can either
What's
try
my
to
second option?
pick the lock of the cell or make off with the keys from the fellow who has them. He is asleep right now. If you're careful, you may be able to do just that.
Okay. I like that. I like keys. I like the sound they make. I like that they're shiny. Let's go with that.
Naomi, you are a bundle of fun.
No, stop.
Yeah, all right, so you sneak around to... Give me a stealth roll. Let's set a baseline
Yeah.
here.
Okay. Oh, God. Ooh, hello. Okay, that's a 24.
Okay. Yeah, you are a shadow in the night. You are able to get around to the front of the building. You can see that the front door is locked in case anyone needs to get inside and have a complaint. It's just a little constabulary. Constabulary, is that the word I'm looking for? It's just a little
Sure.
place where a constable is. Inside, as you push open the door, you can see that there is one guard asleep at a desk. Behind them, there is 4 cells, all of which are empty except for the one in back where Eston is going like this. As you step inside, the guard snores, but does not wake. How would you like to proceed?
Okay. Do we have like a, big ring of keys hanging off of his belt kind of situation? Like
Yes.
sort of Robin Hood adjacent? Okay,
Yeah.
super.
There's way too many keys. They are obviously intermingled with personal ones because
Oh.
there's only 4 cells.
That's even better. I love that. Okay. I'm gonna go to this guy's house afterwards. Okay, let's I suppose I'll just have to I think I'll have to take his belt off, right? Or
Oh,
actually no,
love
I'm
it.
just gonna cut it. I just pull my dagger and just cut the belt.
Okay. Yeah. With a 24 stealth, you're going to be able to get all the way there and cut this belt, but it's going to require a bit of sleight of hand for you to get the keys off.
Okay.
So roll it.
Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. 14.
Yeah. You are able to get the keys into your hands, making just a little bit of noise, but the fellow does wake up. And at first, he's just rubbing the sleep from his eyes. What would you like to do? You have a moment here to make a decision on how to proceed.
Okay. And I'm just standing there with the keys in my hand.
The way that I see it is you're quite short, and he was sitting in a chair, and so you're probably kneeling down next to him. The underneath of the desk is right next to you, and you're just kind of at his side as he is... Oh.
Okay, great. I am going to cast Disguise Self and disguise myself as a waste paper bin.
Okay, yeah. You are one. The fellow gets up and stands and does a full morning stretch, and his pants fall down. And he looks down to see that his belt has been cut. And he says, "What in the hell?" He reaches down there and pulls it up, then takes the belt out of the loops and tosses it into the waste paper bin. What happens when that happens?
I think it would break it, wouldn't it, on contact?
I think so.
Yeah.
If anybody interacts with the spell.
Okay. It is.
Oh, she used disguise self.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. So the belt falls into the waste paper bin and does just fine according to the rule books.
Great.
Thank you very much, 5e. The guy paces around for a moment, holding up his pants, looking for something, and eventually finds some kind of rope that he pulls off of the curtains, and then ties his pants, and then sits back down in the chair. Then pops back up, realizing that Eston's still here, but Eston just says, "I saw nothing, my friend. Nothing at all." And he sits back down in the chair, watching Eston, and quickly falls back to sleep. You now have the keys.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. I think I'll just keep the waste paper basket, outfit in case he wakes up again.
So like Solid
shuffle
Snake
across
from Metal
the
Gear
floor.
Solid.
Oh yeah, just like shimmers a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. You're able to get over to... You rolled 24 on stealth to get into this joint, and you handled yourself just fine. So you're able to get to Eston's jail cell. And he says, "Well, you are full of surprises, my gnomish friend. Quickly, Naomi, let me free."
All right. Gonna start going through the keys one by one.
If I may, he reaches through the bars and taps one of the older, bigger looking keys and says,
Okay, great.
"I believe I saw him use
Okay, perfect. I'll use that one.
Sure. You unlock the cell, and Eston steps free. He takes a large breath and says, "Goodness, I hate being confined."
I'm with you on that one, my friend.
It would appear I have my end of the bargain to hold up. Shall we away, Naomi?
Let's shell. Let's get out of here. This place
Let's
smells funny. I
shall
don't want to be a
indeed.
wastebasket anymore.
Okay. You guys get to the door, and Aston says, "Oh, shit. I'll meet you outside."
All right. Do you need to stop in the bathroom, or what's going on?
I forgot something in my cell.
All right, chop chop.
He closes the door, and you hear it lock. He's inside for just a while longer, and then you hear the door unlock, and he slips out and closes it behind him and says, "Perfect. Let's go."
Great. Got everything you need?
He pats his pockets. Yes. Yes, I do.
All right. Shall we?
We shall. I think we should get out of town very quickly. They aren't going to be pleased that a man escaped from a jail cell, but we can start our way to Popo soon. Yeah.
Certainly. Do you know? Do we know which way he went?
Yes. He was heading out of town, and I did hear him speak something about a camp, an encampment. Now, there's only a few in the direction he was headed, and I don't think it will be difficult for us to decipher which one it was once we're on his trail.
Very well. To the encampment.
After you.
All right. Head off down the dusty trail, huh? Shake off the
He
dust
stops himself and he says, "Naomi, roll insight."
Boop. Okay, 16.
Okay. You can see that he's conflicted, and he leads the way to an alley and starts to pace. And he says, "Eston, you do this every fucking time. You get attached, and it dooms you." Naomi, it would seem I have not been altogether honest with you.
Well, now's your chance.
Popo's not headed into the wilds. I did hear him mumbling, and I did catch the one name I might have recognized from that wretched, soggy city by the sea. Your friend Popo, and I do fear for him now more so than ever, is headed towards the Last Oak Inn.
Aha. And this is, I mean, we know, we know that he doesn't do well in bars. His like bar side manner is terrible. But what is the Last Oak Inn?
The Last Oak Inn is a very peculiar place in Port Truac. Are you familiar with the soggy city Port Truac?
By reputation.
As we all are. The Last Oak Inn is an exclusive establishment. If Popo has in his possession a little pouch with a very important article, he may be seeking to use it as leverage to enter the bar, but I assure you it will not work. There's only one type that may enter the Last Oak Inn, and I would say Popo does not fit the bill.
Fair. What's their usual patronage?
I hate to say it, but heroes.
Oh! Oh my god! He's not getting in!
No.
Can you imagine? Oh my god! The heroes! Oh my god! I'm sorry. That's great. Oh, we don't have to worry about that at all. Like, at all. Oh. I'm sorry.
It was my...
You were saying.
It is difficult for me to trust anyone in my line of work. The intellectual scene is so competitive. But I must say, My intentions were to lead you into the wilderness and then separate. But if, and you've just tugged on my little heartstrings, Naomi, if you wouldn't mind it, perhaps I could accompany you at least part of the way towards Portuak.
Well, frankly, it would be foolish to go into that particular city unaccompanied. I enjoy your company so much, and I would love it if you would keep me company on the road. Let's go. I'll even forgive you for, wanting to abandon me in the woods or whatever. We're just gonna let that one slide.
I do appreciate it. When you put it like that, I do sound like quite a bastard, don't I?
No, I have terrible taste.
And with that, the two of you slip into the night and make your way out of town. Nothing grows in this desolate waste of Basamortok. Deep cracks fissured into the earth. As you trek across the scales of what seems to be an infinite dragon, but is certainly just the dry, parched earth, which is unrelenting and seemingly infinite. You're relieved at first to have crossed out of the desert sands almost a fortnight ago, but the civilization promised by Argus has not yet appeared. You've found only dry alkaline air and fine dust that kicks up with the smallest breeze. It cakes over you and seeps into every small crack of skin, and you're now wearing a familiar coat of dust in which Argus had worn the first time you saw him. The flats never end, nor does the deafening silence. Argus and Eartran, you've been traveling together for a little over 2 weeks. What is one random thing the two of you could agree upon, except for one tiny detail that you would have talked about while traveling? For example, if the two of you love pizza, but had differing opinions on the favorite topping, we won't use pizza. But what would that be? I just kind of want to get a feel for how the two of you entertain yourselves as you trudge through this very unforgiving landscape.
All right. I would usually talk about the ocean because that's basically what I know, and I don't talk about my history to anybody I don't know.
And I am still trying to grasp the concept of the ocean. But if anything else, I believe the ocean is one large tree. That's the closest thing I can gather to it.
Would you explain that philosophy to Eritran?
Absolutely. So the world is composed of circles of nature. We, as elves, will take from the earth in terms of other creatures and the berries that we can create out of magic, or the berries that we can pick from the tree, and we'll consume them. And then when we die, we will become part of that nature that begins to regrow again. I assume that your ocean's the same way. If you went into the ocean and died in there, then the ocean would take you and make you part of the water, which would sustain the life that is in said ocean. And then another elf would consume that food from... Do you get what I'm saying?
I think
Sounds
I
like
do.
a concept of a movie with lions
If
in it, but that's not the point.
If I drown in the water, the fish will eat me, but then I eat the fish if I'm alive. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah.
Okay.
So your ocean is like my trees. Like the Zohati that we make praise to, and those who are chosen to go in to become part of that, they become magical creatures. They are chosen.
Does that anything that dies becomes a magical creature?
No, only if you're chosen.
How does one become chosen?
That I do not know, but I'll figure it out at some point.
How do you know then that if chosen people get chosen, they become the thing?
Oh, okay. Oh, I think that you and I have very, very different cultures, Iratran. You don't talk about your history though. I'm so open with my culture, and yet you just say, "I'm from the ocean," and that's all you say.
Yeah, because that's where I'm from.
Okay.
It's in my blood, not literally. I feel like you can get metaphor. You've been in the desert. That doesn't mean you don't get metaphor. The ocean is in my blood.
The ocean's in your blood, but if the ocean's in your blood, can I pull that ocean from you? Do you need your blood purified?
No, thank you. I'll be fine.
Okay. Okay.
You know how
I've
you know how
never met a
your
creature
land-
that has ocean in their blood before. This is a lot.
Ah.
But I just thought you were a high elf. That's confusing.
I'm an extra damp elf.
You're an wow.
Yeah.
Well then you don't have to worry about the desert very much now, do you? I guess it must
Not
have caught you on a
anymore.
bad day, I guess. Okay.
I think the two of you stop at the top of a dune to have this conversation. Argus, you've been leading the way, but you actually turn back to look at Iratran as you have this conversation. And as you're looking at him, from back the way that you've been walking for 2 weeks now, you see, far closer than you would expect, a red streak cut across the sky.
Oh boy. We should continue forward as quickly as we possibly can. How strong do you feel that you are right now?
Iratran, we're going to
After
put you
2
back at full health. Over the course of 2 weeks, you have
Yeah,
been able to inch back towards feeling better. The both of you are still quite thirsty and quite malnourished, but Argus has been able to create enough sustenance to get you on your feet. So you're at full HP, and you have no current status effects.
I'm feeling pretty good.
Good.
All right. Are you ready to? What's going on? It feels like you're.
oh, nothing. I just wanted to make sure that you're very, very good with that short sword, and you're very good with that scimitar. So, just wanted to make sure in case you run into any more of those crabs. Shut up. It would be fine. We would be just fine.
Should I be nervous? I feel like I should be nervous.
Oh no, you shouldn't be nervous at all. You should. What? No, you shouldn't be nervous at all. It's fine.
So the two of you take off
Don't
into the
listen to
waste.
him.
And Argus, I think, sets a good pace. In fact, you do not stop quite as often for your breaks. There is one instance in which food and water needs to be summoned again. Creatures claw themselves out of the sand, but you are getting better at anticipating them when you're deliberately casting and just doing away with them. But it is at this moment, Argus, that you see another red streak cross through the sky, this time far closer than the last. And Iratran, at your feet, an arrow plunges into the sand.
They found
What-
us.
They? Who's looking for us? Who's looking for you?
Oh, I wasn't talking to you. Nobody did. We should just continue on our way as best we possibly can. Do you have that short sword ready to go?
Who are we fighting?
Okay. I would like to try to do an active perception, if I possibly
Please do.
could. Thank you. Oh, it was so close. Darn it. It's an 11.
Okay. You can see a figure cresting a dune. They are a bit... the sun is behind them, so you can really only see their outline. They seem to be traveling light, and they are knocking another arrow into their bow. And this time they shoot it, Argus, and it flies right past you, bringing a red streak that dissipates as it passes. You can tell, Iratran, that it is some kind of enchantment. It's a trail effect that's been placed on these arrows. The figure is now sprinting towards the two of you.
Well, that's unfortunately one of the things that we're kind of moving away from. Excuse me
I
a
think
minute.
they caught us.
Yeah, I would like to fire an arrow at him before anything else.
Let her rip.
Nice. Short
He's approaching
bow.
fast, which will put him well within range, so you will not need to roll
Perfect.
with any kind
It's a
of
dirty
disadvantage.
20.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's gonna hit. Roll for damage.
It is 6 points of damage.
Woo! Okay, so
What
Uh,
of the
the-
wall?
the arrow sticks into this figure's shoulder. He's now close enough, Iratran, that you can see it is an elf wearing very light leather armor. Did I say she? I meant to say or he. I meant to say she if I already said he. She grabs the arrow and rips it out, knocking it into her bow and firing it back at you, Argus.
Love it.
That's going to be a 17.
Oh, that hits.
6 plus 2. For 7 damage.
Holy crap.
As the arrow plunges into your almost the exact same place that you just shot her. She now slides, she crests the dune up to where you're standing and slides about 10 feet from you, Argus, as you've just reeled from this blow. She actually turns to Iratran and says, "I've no quarrel with you, traveler. I'm here to fulfill my oath."
Well, I'm bound to this man. He saved my life, so that is unfortunate. And I draw my swords.
So be it. Roll for initiative.
Oh, here we go.
18.
Same.
Okay, what is your guys' dex score?
20.
19 for me.
All right, it'll be Iratran, then Argus, then the elf.
All right.
Iratran, it is your move.
Man, second verse, same as the first. Scimitar!
Let her rip.
23.
That hits.
I love these die. I'm having some good die. Oh my, 11.
Okay. This cleaves through the armor, shedding some of it into the sand, and blood erupts out of the wound. The elven woman spins around with the momentum of the blow and is currently knocking another arrow. Iratran, I believe you have a second attack.
Oh, she wants to go again. That's unfortunate. Sword! 27.
That hits. Roll for damage.
Wait, why did I get 2 die? Oh, because
Oh, it was a crit. It was a crit.
16.
You had a crit?
It's a plus
16?
plus 7, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. She.
So that's 27. I hit a quit 20. Oh my goodness, I wasn't even paying attention. I was just blown away.
Okay. The blow goes through her chest and she falls backwards into the sand with blood pooling underneath her. She is not moving. We are technically out of initiative. Argus, I will throw the baton to you as it would have been your turn to act next.
Oh, I'm totally going to pull the arrow that is currently in my shoulder out, knock it into my own bow, and approach with it prepared.
Okay.
And I would like to see if I recognize this elf.
This would be a member of the Hagoldad tribe. Their identity is not necessarily familiar to you, but their markings and the arrows that you saw fired into the air with red streaks ring oh so familiar.
Oh, I'm going to totally double tap her.
Okay. Roll to attack.
It's a 19.
That's going to hit. Roll for damage.
That arrow is a 10. 10 hit points.
Okay.
I'm head hunting. So.
The arrow hits true, and you can see that she was just for a moment feigning death. And when that second arrow hits, she reaches up with a dagger that she's unsheathed, but she drops it into the sand and falls back dead. The dagger, the blade of it, is leaking some kind of fluid into the sand, which is actually glassing it because it is so corrosive.
Someone really wants you dead, friend.
Yeah, I know. Crazy, right?
Well,
I'm just a nice guy. I don't know.
You seem nice enough.
Well,
is there any hatred? Should we run? I feel like we should run.
Oh, we don't need to run. They only show up every once in a while. And I'm actually going to take out my sickle, and I'm going to mark my arm.
How many marks are there?
There's currently 3.
Okay.
Well, this is my 3rd.
Okay. You see this ritualistic scarring, Iratran, as Argus carves a notch into his forearm.
Shall we go?
Number 3. Yeah.
Okay.
Or you could tell me why you're marking.
Oh,
Is
but
that-
we have to get to civilization. I definitely need to meditate at some point down the line, but I can tell you about it as we go. Sure. Especially if you give me some of your story, stranger.
Okay.
This is what they do, right? When you're a secret. Yeah.
Some people do, yes.
I haven't been around
I-
people for so long. I'm just assuming.
Well, you nailed it. First try.
Okay, I'm gonna do that all the time now.
So
The
We
two
don't
of
have to
you
run, we
take
can
off
skip.
down.
Oh.
The two of you skip down the dune and into the sunset.
Can he skip? And I'm gonna just keep pace with him.
Yeah, it looks strange because he is skipping rather well and fast. So you're kind of like speed walking, but the two of you do fade into the sunset as the
By
camera
the way, I
pans
love
away.
you speed walking. All in the shoulders. It's always all in the shoulders.
Well, yeah, that's the full body workout.
Triss, the oak is obvious. Jer's brought you back to the only tree in Portuak. It stands in a massive courtyard, its canopy spreading out like a million arms ready to hold up the world. There's a majesty to this tree that has stayed every hand that has ever held an axe, and again, Jer approaches it with reverence and gives it space as you pass. Beyond the tree is the inn. Light glows through the stained glass windows, illuminating heroic acts. Laric the Rough, healing the dragon of Eldmore with a song. Trevelyan the Silent Blade, ascending the Titan's peak. Hedra aims true, pleading mercy for the life of an orphan child before the Queen of Erestria. You wonder what your stained glass story would look like, just as a presence breaks the glow of your daydreams, and a thick mass of a man in full plate armor steps out,
For the
barring your way
Alliance!
to the door. He's still holding a coconut with a little umbrella in it and says, "Bit young for these parts."
Yes, but did you know I have the infamous Jer the Fantastic with me?
You gesture back to Jer, who strikes a Peter Pan pose and says, "Hooyah!" This fellow says, "No. You'll want to just move along."
But you haven't heard what he's done.
All right. What is it he's done?
He killed in one night with just one hand 13 men that were robbing a maiden.
Okay. Wow. I just don't know where to begin, is the thing. Roll deception.
12.
No. He says, "I can see that the two of you," and Jer says, "Yeah," would like to enter the Last Oak Inn, but there's only one sort of clientele allowed inside.
What are the qualifications needed?
Well, a brief overview is that we only allow heroes inside, but more specifically, only those that complete
For the Alliance!
an adventure.
Well, we've had plenty of adventures. What kind of adventure?
He actually gestures to you can see that there's a bit of a crowd around. There's just people who are having a little patio drink. Some of them are moving inside and outside, all of which this person seems to be aware of. But when he gestures over, there's a large poster, like a board, just like a community board, that's over off to the side, that you didn't notice at first because there is quite a few people gathered around it. And he says, if you're curious, you'll find everything you need to know right over there at the leaderboards.
Is there a back entrance to this place?
Would you like to find out?
Yes, please.
Okay. You make your way over to the leaderboard and then slip on past into the alley behind. When you get around back, you have enough shadow here to take a look before anybody sees you. Okay. You can see two other folks. They look to be twins. They are both elves, and they are both female, and they are stationed on either side of this door. One of them has a toothpick that she's like aggressively digging into her gums with, and the other is cleaning underneath her nails with a curved dagger. Their faces and knuckles are all scarred. They are not big in the way that fellow was, but they look like compact. They look tough. And the two of them are sitting very casually back here. There is no others. For a second, the door opens. A cook comes out and empties a barrel into one of the plank dumpsters and then heads back inside.
All right, Jack. We got two options. We can three options actually. We can try to sneak in the back. We can come up with a story, or we can look at the leaderboard and try to get in the honorable way. What would you like?
I think you're nuts, first off, but secondly, why don't you take a good look at those two? Roll insight on the elves.
I mean, I kind of know they're scary. 18.
I will just confirm that. They look, while the bouncer out front was quite cordial and having a good time with his coconut, these two have a look about them that you have not seen very often. You deal with some small-time criminals and some troublemakers, Triss, but these two look to be of a very different sort. They are relaxed, but you do see flecks of blood on the collar of one of their shirts. They look a little scary.
All right. Well, the thing is, Jet, I think you deserve to go in there.
Me? I don't even want to go in here. I'm only here because of you.
Well, I want to show you that you are a hero, and you should go in there. And then maybe, finally, you'll actually forgive me.
Yeah, all right. Well, I don't want to sneak past those freaky-deaky assassins, so why don't we go check the leaderboard like that human mountain suggested?
Fine. Let's go.
As you
Don't
come
call
back
me
around...
nuts.
I won't. As you come back around, you could see that the large fellow is looking above the crowd and sees you exit the alley and says, "Now, did you find out everything you needed to know back there?"
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Thank you so much.
When you approach the leaderboard, there's a bit of information on it. It's broken into several different sections. There is a section of it that looks to be just like a leaderboard. It's got 8 places that are full, with names of what look to be crews or maybe teams, and numbers next to them underneath something that says adventures completed.
For the Alliance!
And there's also some old instructions. Jer points to a couple different ones and says, "Now, here's the thing, Beatrice. It's only those who go and complete an adventure kind of listed here are the ones that are going to be able to go inside. So I like your pizzazz, but I don't think we got what's necessary for a full crew. You know, you need an adventuring party, like a fighter. I guess I could sneak by. A healer, none of us could do that, and a magician. And you don't think that magicians just grow on trees, do you? And you hear from next to you, Triss, a voice say, well, that would have to be a very peculiar kind of tree now, wouldn't it? And Naomi, you are standing next to the very same leaderboard. You and Eston have been on the road for a while now, and you've just arrived into town. And Eston says, as I was saying, Naomi, only a certain clientele may enter the Last Oak Inn.
Well, I think we can find a way around that. Don't you think? Put our
He
heads
turned-
together, scheme a little.
He turns to Triss and says, now, I saw you coming from the back alley. Any side entrances?
Yes. If you want to get beat up pretty good, you could give it a go.
Ooh, yeah, that's low on the list for me. That's low on my priorities list. Yeah.
All right. I, too, would prefer not to be beat up. At about that time, both of you roll perception.
Historically bad for me. 16.
5.
Okay. Naomi, you get the impression that some other people next to you have noticed something.
Sure.
But Triss, the moment is interrupted by the smell. This is the one that you smelled a little bit earlier. This time it is unmistakable because it is quite a bit more overwhelming. As the wind changes, you are hit with a full whiff of it and you know exactly what it is. The scent of fire drifts comfortingly under your nose, making you think of hearth and happy gatherings. Then you remember you're outside. Help! A woman screams from down the road.
For the Alliance!
Instinctually, all of you break into a run towards a crowd that is forming. Eston bringing up the rear. Jer struggling to keep up and holding onto your arm tightly. Triss. As you draw closer, you see a glow much too bright above the roofline. Then a lick of flame twists hungrily up into the night. There's a group of dirty children that are being herded out as quickly as possible, but then a man is pushed back from the front door by a burst of heat. The children! The children! He yells, pointing to the second story as he waves his arms for someone, anyone, to help. It seems that the orphanage is on fire.
No!
Blackout!
What?
It's like
Oh my
orphans don't
God.
already hard enough.
The children!
Children, not
The
children.
You gotta save the children.